It's time once again for your update from the City of New Hope, and the Mayor, Kathi Hemken, is with us once again. Welcome, Mayor. How are you today?
Hi, Dave. Well, a little chilly, but other than that, fine.
That's right. It's been a little cold out there, and that might affect some of the events we're going to talk about here in the next few minutes. We'll keep you updated on what's coming up in the City of New Hope. And one event is the Great Shingle Creek Cleanup. Tell us a little bit more about this event and the timing and what people can do to help out.
Well, Shingle Creek is the creek that runs through Meadow Lake. And so we have a park at Meadow Lake. So we do a cleanup at Meadow Lake Park, and that'll be done on the 4th of May. And the time of that is 5 o'clock in the evening. So bring gloves, bring a rake if you want to help. And we pretty much just clean up the park, do some cutting, take down some vines that are growing on the fence, and just make the park look pretty again.
Great way for residents to help out. While we're in that area, let's talk about safe routes to school and Meadow Lake Elementary. Some work being done here. Tell us some of the background and now what is going to be happening at the school, hopefully.
Well, at Meadow Lake School, it's right on Boone and about 58th or something like that. It's really hard for the kids to cross that street. It's such a busy street. So a few years ago, we did a trial project where we kind of painted some lanes and made it a little easier for the kids, stopping the traffic a little bit. That seemed to be very, very successful. So with the help of our city engineer, we're applying for a $363,000 grant from the federal government to redo that intersection. What we'll do is we'll put up bollards so the kids have a place to stand before they cross, take out the turn lane, just make it easier, have flashing lights. We want those kids to be safe when they're crossing that intersection.
More to come as that project moves along. We'll keep you up to date. It's survey time once again in the City of New Hope. Remind us again, Mayor, about the survey that's coming up and why it's important for the city that residents participate.
Well, every 5 years, we do a professional survey with Morris Letterman, that's the company. Well, of course, we didn't do it during COVID, so here it's a couple of years later. So what they do is they pick 400 random phones to call in New Hope, and they will call and ask them about 20 questions. It doesn't take more than 10 minutes. We really, if you get a call, we really want you to answer the questions for them. It's very helpful for us to know what's going right, what's going wrong, what we need to fix, what we need to add, or maybe what we need to take away. So if you happen to get a survey from Morris Letterman, it's official, and please answer it.
Now to scattered site housing, keep you up to date on a few of the projects happening in the city. 42nd and Boone, we've talked a lot about that project, the treehouse site, and now a big celebration coming up.
Well, it is. The city, the treehouse in New Hope and Plymouth have combined. And so they've moved that operation to Plymouth. So that property was for sale. New Hope, the city of New Hope bought the property, and they'll be closing on that in June. And then we'll tear that property down. But they're having a celebration there, like a farewell party. And I've got to get the date on that, right? That will be the 3rd of June from 6 to 8 at the treehouse property. So if you happen to stop by and want to say goodbye to the building, welcome.
Very nice. 53rd and Rhode Island. Let's talk about what's happening there. People have noticed a lot of demolition work, and that seems to be done at this point.
It does. They removed all the valuable stuff in a deconstruction thing, and then they demolished the building. That's all done. And so what we'll do now is we'll seed the lawn so it looks decent. It's just not wet, dirty ground. And then we'll go to possible builders for proposals, and they'll send back the plans. We usually tell them what we want there, a split entry or 2-level or what we want, and they'll come back with the plans, and then we'll review those plans.
Okay.
We have to have them back by the 27th of April. We'll review those, and then the EDA, the Economic Development Authority, will decide which builder to go with.
Another regular update we pass along is the business networking group, some of the activities happening for business owners in the city. You've got an event coming up at City Hall on May 4th. What's the topic?
We do. It's at 2 o'clock, and the person is Stacy Leach, and it's Empower You Physical Therapy and Wellness. Your physical therapy and wellness. So it's a business networking group is free. They do a lot of networking between each other. So it's really a good thing to come to. It's 2 o'clock at City Hall.
Buildings, permits, and inspections. This group has been busy lately because of the fire at an apartment complex. Give us the recap here. How is the cleanup process going?
Well, that was at Pheasant Acres a couple weeks ago. Nobody was hurt in that fire, but there was a lot of damage, and it damaged the entrance and the exits to some of the properties. So a lot of those residents had to be displaced, and now they should have that cleaned up pretty quick, and they should be back in their apartments pretty soon.
That's good to hear. Let's move to the police department. A few items to keep you up to date on. Here's a very nice one. Honor given out to a New Hope police officer that's a few years late, but better late than never. And this is for some great work on the SWAT team.
Well, Ben Hardy, who retired in 2019, is getting the award for Officer of the Year for the SWAT team for 2019. Mm-hmm. And they're giving it now because of COVID, they didn't have meetings in person, and they wanted to present that in person. So that's a pretty big deal for our police squad. Congratulations.
And also the Meals on Wheels for the police department. How's that process going? They're still out there happily delivering meals?
They are. It seems like every week there's a different person doing it, but they're always in uniform, and they deliver the meals to shut-ins, elderly or just shut-ins. And the people that are getting the meals really enjoy seeing the police officers there.
What a great way to connect with the community. Let's move ahead to Public Works. A few things happening here as spring is upon us. The first one is sanitary sewer cleaning. Sounds like a wonderful job and wonderful time of the year. What does this involve?
Well, I'm sure glad I don't have to do it. Right. They have equipment, of course. They're not doing it by hand. But they go around and inspect the sanitary sewers, make sure they're running okay, and make sure they're cleaned out. And so that happens in the spring of the time of the year. So they're doing that. They also do all of the maintenance on vehicles at Central Garage. Mm-hmm. And so any vehicle that needs their oil changed or their brakes relined or whatever, they do all that work too. Now, because they had this big overhaul being done at Public Works building, a lot of that was delayed. So now they're going to be really busy trying to catch up with all that stuff that needs to be done.
Something else interesting in Public Works is water sampling equipment, something they have to be trained on. And that process, I understand, is going on right now.
It is. Well, they have to make sure that our drinking water is safe and good. Actually, we have very good drinking water, and it comes from Minneapolis, but it still needs to be tested. And so they do that. They also test the water in the lakes. And so there's some training that goes on with doing that. The other thing Public Works is doing is they're busily removing ash trees that have that emerald ash borer. Right. And this is something I just learned. How you can tell if you have an emerald ash borer in your tree is, first of all, look up. And if you see a spot on the tree where the bark is gone, or you see a woodpecker on that tree, the woodpeckers are trying to get the larvae of the emerald ash borer. And so they'll peck at the tree. So you should hear that. You could see the bark removed. And if you can't look up or can't see them, look at the base of the tree. There should be some droppings from the woodpecker. Okay. And that's another way to tell. If you have an emerald ash borer problem on your private property, that's up to you to remove that tree. Okay. But if it's on your boulevard, you need to either call City Hall and tell them that you have an infected tree on your boulevard. We try to go around and see the trees before, but we miss some occasionally. Sure. So if you think you have one, just call the forester, come out and look at it. Now, the other part of that is we're doing some infrastructure work north of Bass Lake Road, mm-hmm. around Gettysburg. And a lot of the boulevard trees there are ash trees. So those will get removed because they just need to be removed because of the emerald ash borer. But there's a few of them that are in the way of the utility work they have to do. So those trees have to come down. If you have a boulevard tree that has to come down for whatever reason, the city will give you a list, and you can pick from that list for a tree to replace the one they're taking down. Of course, the replacement takes a long time. Probably won't get it till the end of the summer. You can't be planting trees right now. So anyway, just be patient with us and know that they're coming. Those trees are coming down. And if you have an emerald ash borer problem in your yard, you need to take care of that yourself.
Good information for the residents. Let's move ahead to Park and Rec and talk about some of the things happening. And this is the publication to have. The In Motion has lots of information inside about many of the next things we're going to talk about. And one of those items is adult pickleball seems to be very popular, Mayor.
It does. We have a few courts that we've converted to pickleball courts, and they're not as lovely as Edina's or Plymouth's, but they're sufficient. And it costs a lot of money to convert these courts. Mm-hmm. Well, the other thing they're having is pickleball lessons. and those started this week. And if you look in your in motion, there'll be the new lessons will be starting every few weeks. So look in that in motion under adults and pickleball lessons, and you can see when you can sign up for a lesson. And most of those lessons will happen at Civic Center Park. That's the one by City Hall.
Very good. All right, let's look at some photos here of some recent accomplishments by the New Hope competition dance team, I believe this is. So tell us a little bit about their work over the past weekend or so and some of the wonderful awards.
Well, they were in Chanhassen this last week, and they do singles, they do doubles, and they do trios. And they won a lot of awards for those, but the really important one was a sportsmanship award. And they give it out to one dance studio a year. And New Hope's dance studio won it this year, which is really, it really speaks highly of our girls and our dancers.
Congratulations. We want to make another plug for Safety Camp is coming up this summer. But again, now is the time to register, Mayor, and extra incentive right now. The cost is $0.
It is. Affinity Plus Credit Union donated enough money for 75 kids to go to Safety Camp with no cost. Now, it's open just to New Hope residents until the end of April. So if you want your child to go, you need to get that child, don't wait, you need to get that child signed up for it now. Because after May 1st, we open it up to the general public. And so kids from Golden Valley and Robbinsdale and Crystal can sign up then. And of course, because it's free, it'll fill up really quick. So the dates on that is August 16th to 18th.
Okay.
It's like 8 in the morning till 4:30. The kids just love it. They get a t-shirt, they make new friends, and they learn all about safety, everything from electrical to storms to water to just traffic, everything you can think about for safety. The kids really enjoy it, and we're so happy to announce that it's free.
It is a neat opportunity. I've had a chance to go out and get some video of those events over past years, and they do look like they're having fun. All right, let's give you the city's website, newhopemn.gov on the bottom of the screen. You're going to need that to hop in for information about that safety camp, also about some opportunities coming up for volunteers and also for seasonal jobs. Tell us about both of those, Mayor.
Well, we put on something called Young Mudders, mud like dirt, mud, mudders. And these kids basically play in the mud. And there's a lot of obstacles that the kids have to go through. And of course, we need volunteers to just kind of make sure that the kids don't get hurt with that. So we're looking for some volunteers to help in that obstacle course for the young mudders.
Fun.
And the date is on the calendar that you'll see. If you want to volunteer, just go on the website or call City Hall and tell them you want to volunteer for young mudders, and they'll sign you up.
And seasonal jobs, we have jobs filled up in Park and Rec and at the pool, but we still need some seasonal help for Public Works. What types of jobs are those?
Well, we do. Mostly those are lawn mowing and just cleaning up the parks. So Public Works has these kids that are just helping out with the parks. I believe it starts at $14 an hour, depending on what you're doing. And it's part-time, but it's a nice job for students and seniors, just if you're looking for a fun little summer job.
A few other Park and Rec updates for you, a few of the great facilities in the city. The first is the golf course. Things are starting to get busy at the golf course, even with the extra layer or two on of a coat, right?
Well, unbelievably, last weekend, Saturday and Sunday, in the rain and the snow, there were people playing golf.
Sure.
A lot of them. So the leagues start this week now. And I'm supposed to play on Tuesday, and I'm a little skeptical, but
yeah,
I have long underwear, so I'm going to play. But there's still opportunities to sign up for the leagues, both the junior league and the adult league. So if you want to play golf this year, get busy and sign up.
Another item at the golf course, something that happens on an annual basis, is the plant sale, which I know you're very involved in. The date has been moved a little bit. Tell us about the plant sale, what it is and when it is.
Well, typically what happens is we go out in the golf course and we dig up some of the plants that need to be thinned out or just dug up and pot them and sell them at the golf course. And all that money goes to buy the flowers that go around the golf course in the summer. So we were going to have it on the 7th of May, and it doesn't look good for the 7th of May because nothing's coming up yet. And they need to be a couple weeks in the pots before, we want to sell them. So it's been moved to the 21st. The hours are 8 a.m. to 11. I'm sorry, 8 to 1.
Mhm.
Now, I just want to, if somebody has something coming up in your yard that you go, maybe I need to thin out these buttercups or whatever it is. You
Right?
can certainly just put it in a plastic bag, drop it off at the golf course. They'll call me. I'll come and get it and pot it. So
Okay,
we're looking for people to donate plants. They don't have to pot them. I'll
sure.
do that. I'll do that for them. They just have to get them to us. And so that golf, we raised, I think, about $1,400 last year.
That's fantastic. Yeah, helps out quite a bit.
It does.
Other people or other things seen out at the golf course besides the golfers, tell us about the little family that has been out there that might catch an eye or two if you're hitting your golf ball.
Well, there was one fox, and then obviously there must have been two, because now we have two babies.
Okay.
So they basically live at the golf course. They have places that they hide. But if you see them out on the course, please don't bother them. They're trying to tend to their little babies, and we want them to feel safe on the course. They're not harmful. They won't attack you. Just stay away from them and try not to hit them with your golf balls.
All right, sounds good. And over to the ice arena we go. A lot of work happening inside that building that is kind of the cleanup and prep work. What's going on?
So on the north rink, they took out the dashboards and the glass, and they power washed the floor. They power washed all the steps. This week they're repainting the steps. They're putting in the boards and the glass. And then this I thought was kind of interesting. I asked if they were going to repaint the floor, and they said no. What they do is they put powdered paint into the water that puts the ice down. So the paint is actually in the ice, and they put many layers of ice down, of course. They said what happens with the paint, it doesn't seem to cure up well if they paint the floor.
Okay.
So it does better if they actually put it into the ice. It sounds like magic to me.
Very interesting. Learn something here every day. The Aquatic Park, something people have been waiting for, or some dates of when it will open. What are those magic dates?
Well, it's kind of confusing. June 4th and 5th.
Okay.
It'll be open. That's a Saturday and a Sunday. So it'll be open, I want to get the hours, 11 to 7 on Saturday and Sunday on those 2 days. And then it's going to close, and it'll open again on the 9th for the season, the 9th of June for the season. And during the week, the hours are 12 to 8, and then on weekends are longer. The reason that that's happening is because the kids are still in school.
Sure.
And so most of the people that work at the pool are kids, and the kids are in school. We don't have them. So we have to wait till school's out before we can open up during the week. So that's the reason for the opening and then closing, then opening again. But after the 9th of June, we'll be open for good.
Got it. We'll keep passing that as long as we get closer. One update from Human Resources, some applicants for a sergeant position, I believe, in the police department. How is that process moving along?
Well, one of the rules of city government is you have to post the job internally, and you have to have at least 2 qualified candidates before you go to the outside. So with there's a sergeant position that's open. We've got a potential sergeant that's retiring. And so we got 7 applicants from inside. Well, every time you post within like that, everybody seems to just move up a step. So we're really excited that we got that many applicants for a sergeant's position.
Final note we want to pass along as we close is spring break is over, the kids back in school, but as the weather gets a little bit nicer, sort of outside, a little more walking and playing outside, you wanted to pass along some information just for drivers to be extra aware.
Well, we all know kids don't look for cars.
Right.
So the cars have to look for the kids. And they just don't look when they run across the street or their ball goes in the street. So please keep an eye out for the kids. Slow down during where you're by a school. And of course, stop for those school buses, because you never know where those kids are going when they get off that bus. We really don't want to lose any kids to a traffic accident.
Great advice. All right. And lots of great information on the city's website, newhopemn.gov. If you want to find out about some of the activities coming up, go there. And also stick with us here in just a few seconds. We're going to show you some of the events that are coming up in the city. Mayor, thanks once again for your time. Look forward to talking to you again next week.
Thanks, Dave. See you then.
Learn more about the connection at ccxmedia.org and follow us on social media.